Hello everyone, welcome back to West Cornwall. My name is Francis Sanderson, for those who don't know me. I work under fitness and strength training in Camborne in Cornwall. My background is professional rugby. I have a university masters in strength and conditioning as well. So today I'm going to take you through running mechanics. These I've used in the professional game and I use them with pretty much all of my clients. With the exception of people who medically can't do the running exercises, and I probably wouldn't do it with maybe swimmers or cyclists, but possibly in the off season there's a little bit of cross training. So I've taken this out onto our exclusive running track. It's just a little bit of smooth tarmac in the car park. Normally I do the work with the guys on the running, running on the pitch. Or with the hockey, I do it on the Astro, netball on the court that they play on. So whichever surface is suited to that sport, or that sport is played on, I'll do it on those. But for here, I'm going to do it on the tarmac so you can see what's going on with my feet. Okay, to start off with, I would take them through a general mobility drills in possibly on the floor, getting the hips loose, getting the shoulders loose, ankles, everything, and then possibly a little bit of stretching. The stretching, one stretch I definitely would do, 10-second hold on the hip flexor stretch. So tuck the bottom underneath, lean the hips forward and reach over. Just make sure that those hip flexors are nice and loose. Just by the way guys, if any of you have any questions on this, please look me up at Fit and Strength Training on Instagram. And I will be happy to answer any questions on the exercises and clarify bits and pieces for you. So once we've gone through a little bit of mobility, a little bit of stretching, and then possibly some activation exercises, I'll then take them onto the field for a little bit more of a dynamic warm-up. So looking at a walking lunge with a good step over, you can advance that a little bit more onto the front cross sling with a walking lunge and a twist over the front knee. Okay, so walking lunge, then we can go into a dynamic hamstring. So front leg straight, sitting back into the bent leg, sweep the arms through, take a couple of steps, swap over legs. Again, advance that on a little bit for back slings. Front leg straight again, back leg bent, sit down into it, and opposite hand comes to touch the toe and the other hand goes up in the air. Take a couple of steps. Just make sure with these that you walk through on the leg that you've just stretched. Okay, so last little bit, rugby players, football players love this, a little bit of a dynamic groin stretch. So just coming down, sitting back into it, getting a little bit of a stretch on the inner thigh. Okay, then we should be ready to start our drill. So I'm going to start from the feet and work our way up. With the feet to start off with, we're looking at walking on the heels. Walking on the heels, taking small steps forwards. All of these drills you can go forwards, sideways, backwards. Okay, just take little steps with it. Reason walking on the heels, we want to get the tibialis anterior activated, ready for our running, and then also it's really good for the ankle mobilization. The last point for that, legs being straight means that you're switching on your hip stabilizers and you've got to be really good through your center. Progressing on, onto the ball of the foot. What you might not be able to see here is that my foot is only about a credit card slither off of the floor. Okay, this means then that every time I come forwards, I'm on the calf's getting active, okay, and every step I take forwards, I'm lifting the top of my foot onto the front of my shin. So the toes stay fairly relaxed, and we're just getting that movement. What this is doing, again, we get tibialis anterior activation, but also we're getting pre-activation in the calf ankle complex. Okay, so we've got that ankle mobilization and that pre-activation of the calf. Moving on. We want to get power, we want to be springy with this, so we're going to go into pogos. Two-footed. Again, every time my feet leave the floor, I'm trying to draw the top of my foot to the front of my shin. This is preloading the calf. getting the calf preloaded so that when it comes back down to the ground, the calf muscle itself should be held, and we're using all the elasticity properties within the muscle, within the tendon complex, to be able to spring us off the floor. That's free energy, okay? That's brilliant, and that will help us progress on, make us faster, and make the running easier. More advanced technique, once they've got the two-footed, you could go into height. If I go sideways, you might see me bend my knees a little bit more, my hips a little bit more, and use my arms. Using my arms to propel myself up, but I'm also using my knees and hips just to help a little bit more of the absorption. Okay, most of the absorption we do want, and the propulsion from the ankle calf complex, but it gets a little bit hard when you're looking that height. Okay, again, advancing on again, go to ankling. So it's exactly the same, just single leg. But looking at that hip, shoulder, all the center being nice and solid. Getting forwards, backwards, sideways with that. For field sports or team sports where you've got change of direction, you could include tennis and badminton, all those kind of sports in there as well. Anything with change of direction, circling, ankling. So you're circling the foot, you're still looking for that quick, light speed off the floor, but it's coming in at different angles, which is great for proprioception. Okay, so that's the calf ankle complex working well. Let's move up the chain. So a little bit on running mechanics to start off with. When you run, you want to be attacking the ground pretty much underneath your center of gravity and your foot drawing backwards. This will tend you towards a flat to forefoot run or ball of the foot run on a slow run, and it will be a ball of the foot run, a sprint when you go higher speeds. There always are exceptions to the rule. There are a couple of people who are able to heel strike with their foot coming underneath them, but as a general rule, the general runner, if they heel strike, it'll be out in front of them. The ground reaction force, because their foot is going forwards, is pushing back on them and slowing you down. Now for deceleration, that's what we want, but for running, we don't want that. So what we want is the foot and the leg to come through and to be attacking the ground coming backwards. Okay, so bear that in mind when you're going through all the rest of this. So marching. From now on, heels are just off the floor, a slither, just a credit card. Okay, they don't touch the floor, we're on the ball of our foot the whole time. Stance leg, straight, pushing the floor away, nice and active in the glute, keeping all your center strong. The cycling leg comes up heel to bottom, okay, a knee pointing forwards and toe pointing forwards. Now the toe pointing forward is pre-activating that calf, ready for its strike, get the foot strike against the floor. The heel coming towards the bottom keeps the leg cycling close underneath you. If you have a big long backwards cycle, it's going to expend extra energy. Think about it, if you hold a weight close to you, it's really light. If you hold the same weight out, it makes it heavier. What we want to do is keep that leg close underneath us so it expends as little energy as possible. So marching, stance leg straight, the cycling leg comes up, heel to bottom, toe knee pointed forwards. Opposite arm to hand. When you look at me from the front, my feet should be striking underneath my hips, only small steps. My hips are staying level, my shoulders staying level, everything in my center up to my head is staying perfectly still, and trying to move along smoothly with my legs going underneath me quickly. Progress the march onto a skip. Again, upper body should be staying still, like in the cartoons, the upper body stays still with the legs going really quickly underneath. Okay, that's what we're looking for. With a skip, you're thinking light and quick off the floor, and still the same thing with the feet underneath the hips and the arms opposite arm. Now the arms, think about lips, hips, lips, hips. Keeps the elbow bent, and again the same thing with the legs. We don't want the arms throwing out really wide because it will send you off. You can see the rotation of my upper body there. So we keep them close in, and they're helping counteract and create the forces to help with the foot strike and the power through the body. Now the feet want to be under the hips. If you imagine when you're running, if you're running like you were on a catwalk, so feet on one line or even over, all your force vectors are going up outside of your body. Now that's wasted energy when you're running, but more importantly when you come to things like rugby, where you're looking for a tackle, if my force vector is going outside my body and I'm going into a tackle, it reduces the force I can apply. So I want the feet underneath the body to be able to increase the force through. The same could be said for tackling in football. Have my foot out to the side so the force vector goes that way. If somebody's coming in with their shoulder, I'm going to stand up better. Okay? So you can, once you know the rules, you can kind of slightly bend the rules. So that's into an A skip. We can have a look at a B skip, which gets a little bit more hamstring and pull through. Okay, not my best exercise. But what I really do like for guys who struggle with the control around the centre is what a coach called Tony Holler does in America, is a boom boom. So you're looking for that skip, that snappy changeover, but you're holding, doing a couple of hops, and with those hops, you're looking to keep all your centre, your hips, your shoulders, everything nice and level, straight and strong. Okay, so A skips, B skips, boom booms. Let's move on. Now, this last exercise, it does take a while to get. I perhaps introduce it in the first year that I work with a team or an athlete, but I don't really get them to do it for probably 2 years onwards. Okay, because they really need to nail down the two, the ankling and the skipping. Is essentially ankling and skipping all in one. So back foot is going to do ankling, front leg is going to do the cycling. Okay, so back leg is just doing the ankling, front leg cycling. Now don't try and get you guys to do that straight away. Some of them who are really competent with movement mechanics, they might be able to get it straight away. Most people won't. Start off, get the back leg straight. Glute switched on, into that ankling, it's just poking you forward. Keep that leg straight. So all I'm doing, rocking back and forth, and poking myself along. Okay, once they're happy with that and they're able to go forwards and with that, is then to bring up the cycling with the front leg. Okay, and just say to them, can you lift your heel off the floor? Can you lift your heel off the floor? Okay, and then you can start giving them cues of think about heel to bottom, toe knee pointed forwards. Okay, with this, again, we're looking for feet hip width apart and keeping themselves nice and level from the front. From the side, have a look at their waist. Are they doing the funky chicken? We don't want to see that. We want to see upper body nice and strong and straight. Okay, and the legs working beneath them. So those are the rowing mechanics. They're great as a warm-up before you go into a field session or sprint session, but they're also brilliant for helping people understand and get their mechanics better. Start off with the ankling, with the ankling work and the on about 5 meters, maybe forwards, backwards. Netball and small courts, you probably would go straight onto sideways for 5 meters. Bigger pitches like football, rugby, hockey, maybe you'd go extend it out to 10 meters forwards and backwards before you play around with sideways. The skipping and the jammers, 20 meters, get it out 20 meters or 10 meters to start off with, then up to 20 meters, get them working and progressing there and able to hold themselves for the whole 20 meters. Okay, who would I use this for? Everyone. I've said this before, everyone, the only people, medical conditions, and cyclists and swimmers potentially in the off season as a little bit of cross training. Remember, please do, I've given you a lot of information there, so please do fire off any questions on any of these exercises or how to apply them. In the meantime, my name is Francis Sanderson, at Fit and Strength Training on Instagram. Message me on there. Get yourself outside, have a play around with these, and you'll find them really, really good fun. Take care now.